Week 3 saw a lot of scoring and some really intriguing matchups, including an AFC shootout and a battle of undefeated teams. Time to see how it all shook out in the Week 3 recap show. We'll start on Thursday night with the Panthers traveling down to Houston to face the Texans. Matt Rule had a meeting with cornerback AJ Bouye to let him know that due to the short week, he'd need the defense to step up. Houston, on the other hand, in a meeting with Marcus Cannon, head coach David Culley told him that he needed the offense to be the ones doing the heavy lifting. The Texans trailed all throughout this game and even into the fourth quarter. Down 19-14 in the fourth, Tyrod Taylor completes second and goal touchdown pass to Keke Coutee to give the Texans the lead 20-19. It was Taylor's second touchdown pass of the day. They'd failed a 2-point conversion, but add a field goal to score 16 unanswered fourth quarter points and get their first win of the season 23-19. Short weeks are never fun, and after the game, it was reported that the Panthers defense wasn't too happy with their performance in the loss, while the Houston offense, on the other hand, was very happy they were able to turn it on down the stretch of the game and get the win. In the first Sunday 1 p.m. game, the Colts and Titans square off to begin AFC South Division play with both teams 1-1 on the young season. Heading into this one, Colts defensive end Al-Quadin Muhammad is feeling like he's poised for a breakout game after his last performance against the Rams. It saw him end with 2 tackles, both for a loss and 1.5 sacks. He wants to prove he can be a guy who does that with consistency, so he's hoping for a repeat of last game. The Titans were held to just 6 points in the first half, but in the second half they were able to get back in the game thanks to a pair of touchdown passes to Josh Reynolds and a go-ahead field goal by Tucker McCann. Derrick Henry was held to under 100 yards rushing, but the Titans were able to hold off the Colts and win 28-20. After holding one of the best backs in the game to under 100 yards as a team, Al-Quadin Muhammad feels very good about his future as a defensive end and has taken the next step to stardom. In New York, the Falcons come into town for a contest with the Giants. Despite having a great day offensively, with Daniel Jones throwing for 335 yards, the Giants only scored 1 touchdown all game, and it came on the ground thanks to Saquon Barkley. The Falcons, on the other hand, had Matt Ryan throw 2 touchdowns and score on defense thanks to the pick 6 from Deion Jones. These all came together to give the Falcons the win 24-19. The Chargers and Chiefs meet in Week 3 for the first time this season, and head coach Brandon Staley told reporters that the key to stopping Pat Mahomes in this one was going to be getting pressure and making him uncomfortable. Neither offense was slowed down in this one at all. They lit up the scoreboard all game. The Chargers scored 28 points in the first quarter, while the Chiefs were held to just 14. In the second half, the script flipped entirely with the Chiefs, scoring 38 total points, including the go-ahead touchdown in the third on a Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushing touchdown. Both quarterbacks combined for 11 passing touchdowns, but the Chiefs were able to come out on top with the 52-42 win. In the post-game press conference, Coach Staley praised Mahomes and his ability to nullify their game plan, but the Charger defense will be feeling the effects of this loss going into next week, I'm sure. The Bengals go on the road to face the undefeated Steelers in Week 3. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins both had huge games last week against the Bears, and both players are feeling inspired by the other. Zach Taylor told us that the two had a meeting, and he challenged Higgins to do it again this week in Pittsburgh, and show why both he and Boyd should be a focus when teams watch film. Joe Burrow did have a good day yardage-wise, throwing for 316 yards, but he was intercepted twice by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Ben Roethlisberger, on the other hand, was efficient as can be, completing 85% of his passes, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Steelers dominate the Bengals 30-7, as T. Higgins held to just 3 catches for 50 yards. Coach Taylor told reporters that he talked to Higgins, who was frustrated with his play. He told the young receiver that there'd be plenty more chances to show what he can do and to just keep this game for extra motivation down the road. In Cleveland, the Browns have a big day behind the arm of Baker Mayfield. He throws 2 touchdowns and ends the day with 337 yards passing. Nick Chubb adds 86 rushing yards and a score of his own on the ground as they beat the Bears by a large margin, 31-3. The Lions in Week 3 welcome the 2-0 Ravens to town, which means they'll have to try and contain Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore offense. Deshaun Hand has been feeling like he's on fire lately, and he's ready to step up and bring it to the Ravens in this one. He's hoping to be talked about as a star in the league after a good game. This game was competitive, with both teams scoring a good amount. The Ravens do enough to separate themselves though, as Lamar Jackson scores 3 times, once through the air to his reliable tight end Mark Andrews, and twice on the ground as Baltimore puts away a resilient Lions team 28-14. Jared Goff in the loss does throw for 308 yards, and Deshaun Hand does end up with 1 tackle for loss, and he helped hold the Ravens to under 100 yards rushing. After that performance by Hand, he cemented himself as an anchor on this Lions defense, and he's well on his way to becoming a star in the league. In New England, it's the Patriots playing host to the Saints in Week 3. After Nelson Aguilar's big game last week, Jacoby Myers feels like he can do the same. I was told he met with Coach Murphy, who praised Myers, telling him that he can take over a game just like that. Myers came out of the meeting ready to prove his coach right. Jameis Winston and the Saints quiet the Patriots crowd early, and thanks to Jameis Winston's 2 passing touchdowns and Alvin Kamara's 1 rushing touchdown, the Saints blow out the Patriots 28-9. Myers caught 5 balls for 95 yards and was obviously not happy with his play in the game. Word out of the Patriots camp is that Coach Murphy reassured his receiver that there would be more chances, just keep improving. Now comes what many were saying was the game of the week, the battle between 2 undefeated teams and young quarterbacks, as Kyler Murray brings his Cardinals into Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Jacksonville came ready to play, running away with this one heading into the 4th, up big 24-6. Early in the 4th though, Murray throws a great touchdown pass to Christian Kirk, making it 24-13. Then, with 3:20 to go, he throws his 2nd touchdown pass of the game to the veteran AJ Green and makes it a 1-score game again, 24-19. They would fail the 2-point conversion, and the Jaguars would get 1 final field goal as time expires and stay undefeated with a 27-19 win over Arizona. From a battle of undefeateds to a team looking to knock off an undefeated team from the tower, it's the Bills playing against Washington at home. This game also featured scoring in every quarter, as the game was tied at 21 entering the 4th. Antonio Gibson breaks the tie in the early goings of the quarter, fighting into the end zone, making the score 28-21. From there, their defense shut out the Bills' offense and stay undefeated, winning 34-21. The Broncos have great offensive production from Teddy 2 Gloves Bridgewater, throwing for 2 touchdowns, and Melvin Gordon has 144 yards rushing, but it's not enough, as Zach Wilson throws and runs for a touchdown, and running back Josh Adams gets a rushing score as well in the Jets' 27-17 win at Mile High in Denver. In Las Vegas, it was a back-and-forth contest between the Dolphins and Raiders. Derek Carr has the upper hand on Tua in this one, as he throws for 297 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 27-14 win. The Seahawks are looking for their first win of the season, and they're hoping to get it in this game against the Vikings. Mike Zimmer told reporters in a press conference earlier in the week that they're going to try and slow Russell Wilson down by limiting his passing ability and trying to make him use his legs in this one. The Vikings were winning all the way through this game and late into the 4th, 20-17. The Seahawks were able to force overtime with the 51-yard field goal from Jason Myers to tie it at 20 and get a chance to win in the extra period. Unable to score on their overtime drive, Minnesota would punt to Seattle. On a 3rd and 5, Russell Wilson connects with Tyler Lockett deep down the field and gets pushed out at the Viking 20. Then on 3rd and 13, Wilson finds Lockett again, this time in the end zone on an acrobatic grab to give Lockett 175 receiving yards on the game, Wilson his 2nd touchdown pass, and the Seahawks their first win on the season, 26-20. Coach Zimmer knows that beating a team led by a QB like Wilson is not easy. They just have to be better in the future about putting games away. The Rams have the task this week of trying to subdue Tom Brady. Coach Sean McVay told reporters in a press conference that in order to see success, they'll have to cover well and hope that it does enough to not allow Brady to have a big game. This was our lowest scoring final of the week, as both defenses really limited the scoring. Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady both only threw 1 touchdown, but Brady's Bucks did enough to come out victorious 15-10 and moved to 3-0 on the season. Sean McVay knew it would be a tough ask to slow Brady down. Even though he only threw one touchdown, he did end up with 325 passing yards. In the Sunday night game, we saw our Packers survive in San Francisco against the 49ers. After going up 31-14 into the fourth, back-to-back turnovers result in scores for the 49ers. An interception returned a nice 69 yards for a touchdown by Dre Greenlaw, and a fumble by Aaron Jones that led to a Raheem Mostert rushing touchdown made the game 31-28. Green Bay was able to right the ship and win, however, surviving 38-28 in the Sunday night scare. And in our Monday night contest, it's the Eagles and Cowboys meeting to renew their NFC East rivalry for the first time this season. All tied at 20 late in the fourth, the Eagles defense stuffs Ezekiel Elliott at the goal line and forced a field goal attempt. The clutch chip shot field goal is good, and the Cowboys go on to win in this one 23-20 in a thriller. Now it's time to take a look at standings as week 3 is finally wrapped up. Let's see how many undefeated teams there are left still standing. Starting in the AFC North, there are 2 undefeated teams here, the Steelers and Ravens at 3-0, Browns 2-1, Bengals in last place at 1-2. In the AFC South, the Jaguars, still the talk of the NFL, surprising at 3-0. Titans at 2-1, and the Texans and Colts are both 1-2. In the AFC East, no undefeated teams here, but the Dolphins are on top, 2-1. Patriots and Jets are 1-2. Bills in last place, winless on the year, surprisingly as well, 0-3. In the AFC West, the Chiefs are on top at 2-1. Raiders in second at 1-2, and both the Chargers and Broncos still no wins in the season, both 0-3. In the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers are undefeated at 3-0. Every other team, Bears, Lions, and Vikings, all 1-2. In the NFC South, Tampa Tom has the Bucks at 3-0. Saints and Falcons at 2-1. Panthers 1-2. In the NFC East, it's Washington at 3-0. Cowboys 2-1, and the Eagles and Giants both 1-2. And finally, in the NFC West, the Cardinals lead the division right now at 2-1. Rams and Seahawks are 1-2, and the 49ers are in last place, 0-3. And there is word out of the 49er camp that Trey Lance will be starting heading into their next game. So, hoping to see what the rookie can do in his NFL debut. Now it's time to see who takes home the hardware this week and wins the Player of the Week awards for Week 3. Beginning in the AFC, the Offensive Award winner is Patrick Mahomes. Thanks to his bonkers day in the win against the Chargers, he threw for 6 touchdowns and 513 passing yards. The AFC Defensive Player of the Week is the man who sacked Mahomes 3 times, Joey Bosa. 6 tackles, 3 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles give him the award. On the NFC side of things for the offense, it's Aaron Rodgers winning the award. He did throw 1 interception, but 318 passing yards and 4 touchdowns will more than make up for that, especially if the number is coming to win. The NFC Defensive Player of the Week is Falcons linebacker Deion Jones. He had 12 tackles and 1 interception that was returned for a score in their win against the Giants. In Week 4, we have a huge matchup for our Packers. They'll return to Lambeau Field and put their undefeated record on the line against another undefeated team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Most people expected the Packers to have a good record, but I think the fact that the Steelers are undefeated has come as a surprise for most people this season. This should be a great test for the Packers offense because the Steelers have the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Leave your score predictions in the comments below. As always, we're going to wrap up now with some questions and things to look out for in Week 4 of the season. Leave your answers to these down below in the comments as well. First, the number 1 offense goes up against the number 1 defense as the Packers face the Steelers. Who's going to remain undefeated once the dust settles? There are 6 undefeated teams left in the Bucks, Steelers, Packers, Ravens, Jaguars, and Washington. 5 of whom are playing this week. Jaguars have a bye. How many will be left once the games are done for the week? And our final question, and thing to look out for I should say, is the 49ers again are going to start their rookie quarterback Trey Lance this week as they look to get into the win column against Seattle. How will the rookie do going up against Russell Wilson? And that's going to do it for the Week 3 recap show and video. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all and allowing me the extra week to take the time to get this one forward to you guys. With all that being said, though, you guys know what to do. Y'all know the drill by now. If you're new here, if you like the content, please subscribe. I have more franchise content on the channel and other things coming down the road here. And with all that being said, stay on the channel, watch more videos. Twitch and Twitter links are in the description box down below. Until next time, you know what to do, guys. Keep on shining and keep on grinding. I will see you all in the next one.